What's up YouTube, it's Drew again. Welcome back to Moto Adventurer. Today we're headed out on a long ride with the Himalayan 450. We're gonna go check out a section of the BRAP. For those who haven't heard of it before, the Southern Ohio Adventure Loop, which you've seen already, has a connector that takes you to the Danny Boone Backcountry Byway called the Bluegrass Region Adventure Passageway. So today we're gonna go ahead and check out about 100 miles of that and then hopefully catch some lunch and maybe some covered bridges on the way back. We're about 80 miles in so far of what's probably gonna end up being like a 400-mile day. So hopefully it's not too rough. It is already 85 degrees outside and it's 10 a.m., but let's get loaded up and get on an adventure. From Maysville, it was on to Flemingsburg for gas and then on to the BRAP. Considering the fact that Kentucky is one of the first states after the Revolution, there is a lot of history here. This is one of the many abandoned tunnels that are left after some of the old rail lines are here. This one is actually relatively modern. I think it was actually shut down in like 2016 and hasn't been repaired since because of basically the way the coal industry has changed. But I want to give a shout out as I'm over here walking this rail line very carefully to stay out of this nasty clay. Shout out to my buddy Bill. He actually stumbled on this on BRAP Section 3. I'd crossed it many times and didn't look over and realize the tunnel was right there off the asphalt. So just one of the many historic destinations that are out here on the BRAP. After leaving the train tunnel, it's time to go look at some of the best gravel on BRAP Section 3, then winding down the twisty roads through the rolling bluegrass hills. All right, so we're south of Owingsville. We're actually stopping here at Bourbon Iron Works. Like I said before about Kentucky history, like because this state is so old, there are a whole bunch of old school iron furnaces. It's kind of a joke. These are like the Appalachian pyramids, right? So from what I understand, this one in particular actually supplied cannonballs to the US military to fight the Battle of New Orleans. So there's a whole bunch of these on the BRAP, probably about 3 or 4. There's more in Southern Ohio if you're gonna do something like Great Ohio Adventure Trail. But it's just, if you're a history nut, it's just one more thing to check out while you're out here riding on the BRAP. From Bourbon Iron Works, it was on to Red River Gorge, but I'm pretty sure I just heard thunder. Things might get a little spicy for a minute. That was definitely not the route I had planned, but I got an idea. thoroughly soaked, it was time to go find a late lunch. So Buddy recommended I go check out Toad's Bar and Grill outside of Fort Guys RV Park. Gotta say, I really like the place. Open air bar, kind of an islandy, beachy type place, even though it's definitely here in the heart of eastern Kentucky and served by locals. Excellent smash burger, nice solid pickle chips, mustard, solid burger, with a side of deep fried pickle fries. Next chance I get to stay longer, I'll definitely be back for more.
I want to thank everybody for coming on the ride today. It rained and it's about to rain more, so I was hoping to do some covered bridges and some other good stuff like that toward the end. Unfortunately, that's probably not going to shave out so well. Dodged some thunderstorms there in Frenchburg, so it is what it is. The Hemmy's been awesome. I came off the preload 2 clicks actually to make it a little softer in the back end, put some knobby tires on it, and I'm really having a blast. Having a good time out on the gravel today. Looking forward to going to do some marginally more difficult stuff, and obviously I don't want to tear up somebody else's bike, but I'm just really happy with the way it's going. When it's all said and done today, it's going to end up being a 400-mile plus day. My butt hurts. It is a stiff seat, but I'm enjoying the bike, and I'm really enjoying even the riding position, even though, like I said, so apparently I need to toughen up my backside, but we're having a good day otherwise. So we're gonna close it out with Native Tunnel. We'll catch you guys down the road. Thanks for watching.